Get in the water here. We got to get plugged in.
Yeah, we are.
I'd like to have your attention here until we do get plugged in. We've got about an hour and a half ceremony here, so we want to get started. One of our members, as you all know, are leaving, and we have a little gift for Ethel. I want to say a few words. She was my neighbor for 41 years, and hate to see her go. Are we there, Tom? Well, we gotta have that. Just let me know when we get fired up here if the power's so loud. Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we have on the pro? I don't even know what's going on here, so don't ask me.
You're it, all of it.
I'm it. Well, how about that? I was telling somebody a while ago I don't get in the driver's seat very often, so bear with me. I got it all down on paper, so I don't have to remember a thing. I don't trust my memory very much. We were talking here a little bit ago about the good old days, and I told Ethel I wasn't so sure about the good old days. I kind of doubt if there was any. But some of you younger people here, in 50 years from now, this will be the good old days. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Yeah, this will be the good old days. So you can think back, and if there's going to be, if the Lord tarries, it'll be the good old days. Ethel was married in 1925.
November 25th, 1925.
Well, I didn't know the date, I just knew the year. She was married the same year that my wife was born, so that's how I remember it.
I'm ancient.
And they came to Spring Hill a year later, and they was there, of course, during the Depression. They came to Spring Hill and farmed 160 acres of land, most of it below sand, and times were hard. And of course, a little later on, the Depression came, the chinch bugs came, the drought came, and Elmer come over one night. That's her husband. Most of you know Elmer Huffmaster. He came over one night and wanted to know if I'd shock some oats. I said, yep. They said, there's 20 acres on the bottom, there's 6 acres on the bluff. What do you think to shock? I said, they're all down. I said, $5. 26 acres. And I shocked those 20 acres on the bottom and set up about half of the 6 acres on the bluff in one day by myself, so you can tell about how good they were. And shock rollers were a gunshot apart. That old sand wouldn't raise healthy sandburrs. But they made a go of it. And I know that Elmer and Ethel would wait until the 1st of July to order their license. You remember this, Ethel?
Yeah, we were all in the same boat.
Yeah, we were, with no paddle.
Yeah.
And the reason to wait till the 1st of July, you could get them for half price. Was that?
$6.
That's what I had in my head, $6. And what did it take? Have to sell off part of the flock of hens to pay for them?
Well,
Yeah.
that's about what we did.
Yeah, right. So, you know, talking about the good old days, they were there, and somehow or other.
But we were young and healthy. Everybody was in the same boat, so what was the difference?
And along with this 160 acres of land, there was a fourth of a town came out of that. So that narrowed it down some. Fourth of Spring Hill comes out of that 160. Yeah, that's. But anyway. I know that Ethel mentioned a while ago here about the time their milking machine. They milked about 15 cows, and their milking machine broke down. And Elmer's brother, Riley, Dale's dad, had a milking machine, and he wasn't using it. And the part, I think it was a pump, the part that was broken would fit Elmer's machine. And he asked John Boone and me if we knew how we could get down there and get that part for the machine. We said we'd walk. That was 1936, and snow was over the top of the fences, the ditches, the roads. You didn't know where the roads were. And And that was one day that's never been a day like it.
There was many a prayer sent up to the good Lord until you got back. And you got back.
It turned as dark as the darkest midnight, right in the middle of the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the wind changed directions, I would say 10 times in a matter of minutes. And we were totally lost out there in the middle of Smitty's field. Millie Smith, we couldn't save a little walking, we got to cut across the corner. And that was a bad day. And I know when we got home, Ethel was, well,
We were very happy. We gave thanks.
I remember when we came across John Boone's yard, came up, he lived there for the store. We came up, cut across there to get over to Elmer's barn, and John's wife came out and she said, "Oh, John, I thought I'd never see you again." Then, of course, about the first that I remember Ethel being involved with church work was in the school, Spring School.
Yeah,
We started the Sunday school there in about 1927, Ethel. And you was involved with that along with about, get it higher? Me not talking loud enough? Okay. About I gotta talk with my hands, so I'm in trouble with it. About 1927, there's probably about, what, a dozen of us? 15?
Think about that.
Yeah.
And if, what's your name? Madeline Mary O'Hara,
Yeah.
the atheist, had known about that, she'd had the Supreme Court after her. We were in the schoolhouse.
Oh yeah, we were in school. And we was labored there for 3 or 4 years. In 1931, we went down and cleaned up the old church. Remember that, Ethel?
Yeah, I remember that.
Brooms, mops, buckets,
You and Ruth Lee and me.
scoop shovels,
Yeah, anything.
Model T truck to haul out the dirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all that good stuff. 1931. And of course there was no electricity there. We had the old gas lights, the old stove.
Hot belly buttons.
Took 28 lengths of stovepipe, 2 feet long. Most of you people don't know what stovepipe looks like, but it's 26 lengths of pipe to go from the stoves up to the chimney, which was in the front of the building.
Tell them about when we'd have a program, then them stovepipes would fall down.
I seen that happen too. Dust and soot, like whatever. What else do I need to tell them?
You're doing well.
But I guess we could say that Ethel survived. She lived there for over 40 years.
63 years and all, I've been around there.
And through good times, the best of times, the worst of times. And Ethel, I guess, originated down on the banks of the river, down in Cleveland?
Down along, well, my folks lived down along Rock River.
Yeah, near
But
Cleveland.
I was born in Farmington, Illinois.
Yeah, right. Then I remember some highlights along there about the ball team. You remember about the ball team?
Tell them about the instant replays.
No. I'm not talking about my ball playing. I'm talking about your ball
Oh,
playing.
yeah, the Spring Hill Bloomer girls.
Yeah. Did you play what, second base?
I don't know.
Yeah, you played second base.
I could run, but I couldn't catch a ball in a horse cup.
You played second base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all, the recreation we had then was farmers' picnics and the church and the school and ball games.
I want you to say a couple words, Ethel. I've taken enough time here today, and
I do want to tell about that instant replay.
well, here, no, I'm going to give you all of this in a minute. You've got more to say than the instant replay. But I'm not going to say goodbye to Ethel. I doubt that.
I want you all to come down and see me.
I doubt that brothers and sisters in Christ ever need to say a last goodbye. We're going to meet again. And, there's a lot of things happen in all the years that I've known Ethel, and like I say, there were some good times.
You can say what you want, Larry. They were good years.
Yeah, they were. I think think Ethel, I'll just give you this thing if I can get it unhooked here.
Well, do I have to talk in that?
Oh yeah, you got to talk in there.
Okay.
Just sit right there. Now,
Okay. What do you do?
well, you just talk.
Just
Just
talk.
talk. Just talk right into there. That's all you got. That's close enough right there. Well, she can hold it there.
Well, you know, everybody around Spring Hill played ball over at James's pasture in Erie. Now, maybe Johnny was, no, you're too young, And every night then when we'd go to play ball, or when we'd come home, why, Elmer and I would go to bed, and our bedroom window was right in direct line with the Riddell porch. And all of those boys and Charlie would gather there, and they'd go through every play that was played on the team. And we'd go to sleep with the instant replay.
Ethel, we had to have some reason, some excuse for getting beat.
Well,
Yeah.
we did get beat. And then they wanted the women to start a ball game. Well, I wasn't much of a ball player, but like Claire said, I played second base. But we, of course, then we didn't have any costumes or anything, so we all wore great big pajamas, and they really covered you up. And but when it comes to catching a ball, I couldn't have caught a ball in a wash tub because but we had a lot of fun anyway. But I do want to tell you, I wasn't raised on a farm, but when I come to Spring Hill, do any of you folks remember Tommy Carpenter? You remember Tommy Carpenter?
You bet.
Tommy said, I don't know about you, Ethel. He said, you coming from Chicago in town, just what kind of a farmer's wife you're going to make. Well, afterwards, Tommy said, I made the best farmer's wife there was around. So that's why I put Tommy. But in one little incident, I went out to the barn one morning, and Elmer was trying to feed a calf by the pail, you know. They had a nipple on the pail. And things weren't very good in the barn, I'll tell you about that time. And I went in and I said, now Elmer, if you'd only just talk real nice to that calf, why, everything would go fine. Elmer didn't say a word, he just handed me that pail. And I started to talk real nice to that calf. Pretty soon I found myself way over in the corner of the barn. That calf was butting me clear over there, so I never gave any more advice on how to raise calves. And then I'll have to tell you one other little funny thing that happened. Of course, when we were married, why, we washed on the board. That was the only way we had to wash. And I would pump the water out at the windmill, and this time I got the water all ready, and Elmer was going to help me up with it. Just about that time, Charlie Riddell's had a Muscovy hen with 5 little ducks. And I looked out there, and they were just taking turns going in that boiling water, and then they'd go around again, and they'd start all over again. Well, that was the end of my wash water. But then Mr. and Mrs. Sorbeck lived across the street, and they were going to buy, of course, nobody in Spring Hill had a washing machine, only Mr. and Mrs. Sorbeck. So Elmer said, well, you've washed on the board long enough. So he bought this double tub Dexter washing machine. And, I thought that was wonderful. So him and the hired man brought it over, and but he said, I just can't take the time off and put that in the wash house or anything. And I said, won't you start the gasoline engine up? And I want to wash. So he did, and they went to the field. And I was busy washing and sorting my clothes, and, made noise, Pretty soon I looked up and half of Spring Hill was there standing there watching me wash. Because they all wondered just what that noise was. And it seemed like the folks in Spring Hill were just one big happy family. Everybody knew everybody, and we all owned our places and things. But I had happy years in Spring Hill and working with the school. But now when I see gray-haired men say, I remember you were my Sunday school teacher, well, I feel pretty ancient to say that. But at one time, believe it or not, our Ladies' Aid had 30-some members. That was before Alberta came to Spring Hill. So we were on the map. Now, believe it or not, we were on the map.
You tell them, Ethel.
Yeah. But there was a lot of happy times, and I think it was the best time of my life because we were young, and we had our husbands and wives, and everything went. We didn't have much money, but we were happy anyway. So I think that's all, and I want to tell all of you folks goodbye. And now, so many of you have promised that you're going to come down and see me. And if you do, I'll have more company than I had in Geneseo. But I won't maybe be up this Memorial Day, but if I get brave enough, I'm going to come up the next Memorial Day so I can tend to the cemeteries and things.
Hang on to that for a minute. We have a little gift here. We're not trying to get rid of you. We're just glad to have you as long as we did. And I think that Ethel here is the kind of a person most of us wouldn't mind to have had for our mother. And a fine lady.
Well, I'm a grandmother in Geneseo. Everybody in Geneseo calls me grandma. Even Betty Sheets calls me grandma. So, and I'm proud to be a grandma because so many years I didn't know I was even going to be a mother, and then to be a grandmother, why, that was very nice. Well, thank you very much. I'll certainly appreciate it. You know, I like flowers so well, and you know what the boys have? They have one great big refrigerator box, and I didn't think I saved many flowers, but that's full of artificial flowers. And so, but I don't know whether you're supposed to take any live plants to Florida, but I have a couple, but if they stop me at the port of entry, why, they'll have to take them, I guess. You know, the movers, Jerry said, whatever you do, tell those boys to stop at the port of entry, because if you don't, the police will take right after you until they catch you. So I hope the boys don't have any trouble. So thanks a lot, and come and see me. You're all welcome. I'm just like a little kid at Christmas time. I can't wait. Now, this would be the kids. They'd have it opened up.
Need more room, Ethel? You gonna make it, Ethel?
What I need is about a 10-year-old boy to get this over. Oh, you know, that's wonderful. Oh, I got quite a few of those games, but I don't have this one. I'll enjoy this.
You can have your devotions and drink your coffee while you're having your devotion.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have another one that's similar to this. Do you want me to keep my mouth shut, Blair? I mean, Dale?
No, I want you to talk.
He wants you to talk. That's all going on here.
I get self-conscious when I know you're taking my picture. So
No, you're not.
you
No,
better
you're
get
not.
it over with, Dale.
Now, you don't have to look. That's a camcorder. You just keep it. Record. You do whatever you want.
Well, I think I've talked enough, don't you think so? Sure. Oh, that's wonderful.
I want to take a couple of
See, if she was here, good man. She doesn't like apples.
Oh my gosh. I never said that. Please said that hard because
that inside here.
Probably man.
They won too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Good man. God bless you, Evan. Oh, that's
I'll be sending my address up here, so any people stay down in Florida, you all come to see me.
Ethel?
They say down south.
Ethel, we plan on being down in Florida this winter for a month, so we'll try and look.
Well, I'll tell you whenever I know where I'm going to be. I know it's Englewood is going to be my address, but Gary and them bought it so quick that
Joanne will know I can
yeah,
get it.
we can set. I intend to write you ladies, the afternoon ladies a letter, and then the night letter. Yeah, and that way I can talk with all of them.
So I thought I'd tell you, if we get a place now to stay for a month, we want to.
Will you be, where will you
Well,
be?
where we're thinking about is over by, where Disneyland is that town. Orlando. Orlando.
Well, you see, the big towns around Englewood are Sarasota and Tampa.